I thought about this last night. How do I tell somebody that's going through a major situation to not be anxious? How do I tell somebody that may be facing a diagnosis of cancer to not be anxious? How do I tell someone who is with a loved one on their deathbed? How do I tell them to not be anxious? How do I tell somebody who's facing divorce or facing foreclosure or facing repossession to not be anxious? I told you earlier that the Bible has answers for us for what we are facing or what we will face. And how does Paul, who's worse off than his audience, tell them, the church of Philippi, to not be anxious? What does Paul know that we don't know? What did Paul understand that we did not understand? He's telling a church to not be anxious. He's telling us as believers years later to not be anxious. How do I not be anxious when I got so much going on? Here's where I honestly believe that the Bible has concretized answers for what we deal with on today. The Bible has concretized answers. What is the course that makes the difficult manageable? Is right there in the next phrase. He says, be anxious for nothing, but in everything. Somebody say prayer. Prayer. He said there's nothing out of reach for God. The ministry of prayer is not only the key to the kingdom, one of the keys to the kingdom, but it is a potent fundamental key that God has given to the believer. Prayer is the technology that God gives to the believers to win and to obtain the purposes of the things he wants in your life.